Good afternoon, students. So today we will be continuing with our chapter sound. Okay, as in our previous class we discussed a few basic things about sound. That means what do you mean by sound, from where sound is produced. Okay, then see in simple, how sound travels, then how it is received by some mostly animals. Okay, because non-living things, they are not able to hear any sound. So we know that sound is a type of energy. Okay, it is a type of energy and mostly produced by the vibration of the body, mostly produced by vibration of the body. So today let's talk about sound needs a medium to travel. Okay, so sound needs a medium to travel. So as it was discussed in our previous class also, that it requires a medium. That means as you require a medium to come to school or to go to various other places, that okay, so that medium can be your vehicles or by road, okay, whatever. Okay, that means that is also a type of medium. Similarly, sound also need a medium to travel, and this medium mostly can be solid, liquid and gas. So we can say that sound travels in all the three forms of physical quantities. That means solid, liquid and gas. But as we can know, as we can see that, or as we can observe, or the in our daily activities, we can see that mostly we feel that sound mostly travels in a gas. That means in air. Okay, and I have given you the example of moon also. As there is no atmosphere or no air in the moon, so sound doesn't travels in a moon. Okay, because there is no medium available in the moon. It is like a space. That means it acts as a vacuum. So moon act as a vacuum. Okay, and it is said that sound doesn't travels in a vacuum. Okay, so sound is a wave and indeed the material like air, water and steel. That means air, water and solid. Okay, it can be steel also, it can be wood also. Okay, to for its propagation. That means to travel. For its propagation means for to travel. So it cannot travel through a vacuum as I told. Okay, so we will take an example of a bell jar. Okay, we will take an example of a bell jar. So as we all know, each and every, as gas is there, it can occupy a space. Okay, as for example, even solid, liquid and gas, they have the properties to occupy space. Okay, and by this reason only we can say that sound travels in all these three medium. Okay, but in some cases where these three things, mostly gas, if it doesn't occupy space, we regard it as a vacuum. Okay, so let's take an example of a bell jar. Okay, as we all know that we have a bell jar. Okay, so it occupies some space, some gas. Suppose this is a bell jar, this is a jar. Okay, this is a jar, and let me make a clear one. Okay, we will just I'll just make a simple bell. Okay, so this is a simple bell jar. Here it is a hammer. Okay, and this bell jar occupies some gas. As we all know that gas occupies a space. Okay, and there is a electricity here. Okay, a wire you can say. Okay, so when we switch on the wire, okay, when we switch on the wire, this hammer just strike this thing. Okay, strike this thing. It can be of any metals. Okay, and it will produce a sound. It will produce a sound due to the vibration in the air, due to this vibration in air. But in case remove this half of the gas from this jar, remove half of the gas from this jar by vacuuming it. Okay, by from this portion remove the jar, as we just remove some amount of what you can say, some amount of air in the balloon. Okay, similar in case of balloon. Okay, what will happen? The sound that were produced or that were produced earlier when air was full, and the sound produced in case B, there will be a difference in sound. As for example, the sound produced in previous case will be much more sharper, whereas the sound produced when half of the air is made vacant. Okay, that means half of the air is removed. The sound will be feeble. Feeble means it will not sound clearly. Okay, and in last case, in case number 3, you just remove all the gases through the pump, by the pump. Okay, that means there is no air. What will happen? Can we hear the sound? No, we can't hear the sound in that case, because there is no medium. There is no medium or no air. We have vacated it. That means we have removed all the gases present inside it. Okay, so this can be concluded that sound doesn't travel in a vacuum, and to travel sound it requires any 3 of the physical quantities, either solid, liquid or gas. Okay, now let's talk about sound waves. Let's talk about sound waves. So as it was discussed in previous classes that it travels longitudinally. That means sound travels longitudinally. Okay, sound travels longitudinally. That means like this. It doesn't travel in a straight way. Okay, it doesn't travel in a straight way. And as I told in my previous class also that the sound energy, okay, when it travels, it transmits the sound wave. That means it transmits the wave from these particles to these particles, okay, it transmits the sound from these particles, okay. It's not that it will travel in a straight line, it travels transverse way, okay. And the quality of the sound, that means the quality of the sounds depends on this medium, that means suppose say that if okay, so if sound travels like this, that means we can see there is a much more distance between these things, these three wave, okay, and there is a less difference in these three wavelength, okay, longitudinal wave. Similarly here the distance is more, here the distance is less. So we have given a term in this case, that means the region where the coil becomes closer are called compression. That means this portion is called compression, and the region where the coils are further apart are called rarefaction. Rarefaction, okay, that means the coils which are closer, they are called compression, and the coils which are far apart, they are called rarefaction. So as we already know, sound propagates in a medium as a series of compression and rarefaction, okay. If the sound is of a similar wavelength, then we can say it is moving in a compression wavelength, okay. And if it changes, okay, as we all know that whatever the sound produced, they are not smooth, they are not uniform. Sometimes it is high pitch, sometimes it is low pitch, and that high and low pitch is due to the compression and the rarefaction of the wave, okay, of the wave, or you can say wave length, okay. So this was about how this was about two terms, that is compression and rarefaction, okay. So we can compare the propagation of disturbance in a slinky with the sound propagating in the medium. That means what is it said that we can differentiate, or we will come to know that by what reason sometimes the sound is much more clear and sometimes the sound is not that much clear, okay. For that the sound wave in a graphic form, that means sound wave depends on density and pressure. Most probably this sound mostly depends on density and pressure. Density and pressure, okay. As for example, we will just see a few examples, okay. So we will make two variations, in terms of density and pressure, and also to that of the wavelength, okay, also to that of the wavelength. Suppose there is a source of sound, okay, suppose there is a source of sound here. Okay, let's say this is density. This portion is much more denser. This portion is much more denser. So this is density variation. And this is suppose say that again another one we have source of sound, pressure variation. This is A and this is B. Pressure variation. We'll make only 3 so that we can understand. Okay. Or you can just this is to show you about the how density and pressure affects the sound. Okay, density of pressure. Again we have another wavelength. Density or pressure. This is A. Okay. This is lambda. This is distance. Average crest point. This portion is called crest. This is called. Okay, so let's have an explanation about this thing. Okay, so as we all know that sound travels in a longitudinal waves. So this sound wave in graphic form is shown in figure. Okay, shown in this figure, which represent how density and pressure change when the sound wave moves in the medium. So the density as well as the pressure of the medium at a given time varies with distance. Okay, varies with distance. That means, as I told that in our previous class also, we discussed that the person nearer to the source of the sound can hear the sound clearly, whereas the person which is very far away from this source, okay, it's not possible for him or her to hear the sound very much clearly. Okay, so that means it depends upon the distance also. It depends upon the distance also. So compression are the reason where the particles are crowded together. Okay, that means where the particles are crowded, they are called compression. And where the particles are not crowded, they are called rarefaction. Okay, are called rarefaction, and are represented by the upper portion of the curve. That means this upper portion of the curve, they are called compression. They are called compression in terms of longitudinal wave. Okay, and the peak represent the region of maximum compression. Okay, and the peak represent the region of maximum compression. Okay, that means sometimes it can lower, sometimes it can fall down also, the wavelength, according to the quality or the pitch of the sound. Okay, thus the compression are region where density as well as the pressure is high. Okay, that means in this region the density and pressure is high, whereas in this region the density and pressure is low or very little, and this region, as we know, it is an average density. It is an average density. So rarefactions are the region of low pressure where particles are spread apart and are represented by the valley. Okay, that means this is rarefaction. As I told that this portion is called compression and this portion is called rarefaction, where density and pressure is very much less and where there is a peak like structure, okay, in the wavelength, it is called compression, and where density and pressure is very much high. Okay, I will make you understand in terms of a medium. That means solid, liquid and gas. Okay, first let me explain this thing. Excuse me. Okay, so a peak is called the crest and the valley is called the trough. Okay, so this peak, the compression is called crest, the term has been given crest, and the valley is given as the name trough. Okay, it's the name for compression and rarefaction. And you know what do you mean by compression? Where the particles are closely packed, and in rarefaction where the particles are far apart. Okay, so distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive refraction is called the wavelength. That means the distance between these two is called wavelength. Similarly, these two length is also called wavelength. Okay, that means distance between two compression and distance between two rarefaction is called its wavelength. Okay, it's called its wavelength, and it is represented by this symbol lambda. Okay, this symbol is also called lambda, and its SI unit is meter. Okay, that means if we have to take out the wavelength of two compression, that means that means we can say that it is of 1 meter or 2 meter. Okay, that means its unit is meter. Okay, lambda's unit is meter. So in that case if there is a suppose if there is a wavelength like this, close then far, okay, then again close, so the distance between these two peak, if the distance between these two wavelength is say 5 meter, okay, and distance between these two wavelength is say 3 meter, that means wavelength of this, okay, this wavelength and the distance of this wavelength. So if you have to take an average of these two wavelengths, what you have to do, you have to add it and divide it by 2, that will come 4 meter. Okay, that means the wavelength unit is or can be taken as, it can be taken as meter. Okay, so this was all about simple explanation of propagation of sound. Okay, and the characteristics of sound can be defined by this figure only, by figure C. So as I was telling about how this density and what it is called, density and pressure affects the sound. Okay, as for example, we will talk about this thing also later, but let me explain you in short. Okay, sound travels faster in solid than what you can say faster, or you can say average than least. Okay, I am not getting the perfect word for that. That means you can say that sound travels faster in solid than in liquid, and liquids travel faster than gas. Okay, suppose for example, if the same sound if I am making, okay, and if I have to propagate, if I have to send it through solid, okay, it will travel faster. Say for example, it will travel in 2 seconds. Same sound, if I want to make it travel in the liquid, it will take more than 2 seconds. Say for example 3 seconds. And similar is the case with gases. Okay, gas takes more time. Say for example 5 seconds. Okay, we will talk about what you can say, the rate of how sound travels. Okay, but simply I am just explaining you about how density varies or density affects the propagation of sound. Okay, so why this thing is happening? Why in solid sound travels faster than liquid and gas, and why in liquid sound travels faster in terms of gas? That is due to the molecules present in solid, liquid and gas. As we all know, in solid the molecules are in solid, the molecules are tightly packed. The molecules are tightly packed. Okay, so the reason behind how it travels faster. So this medium, when sound travels from solid, okay, so there is no, what you can say, rarefaction, there is only compression. So it will travel much more faster in the molecules which are closer. Similar in gas, the molecules are much more far apart. So for this sound to travel in gas, it requires or it will take time. Okay, as for example, if two persons or 2 to 3 persons are close to each other, and if they want to pass something, say for example bricks, okay, they can easily pass. But if two persons are standing apart, that means say 6 feet, a distance of 6 feet. So means to send these things, whatever the things, he or she have to move at some distance. Okay, so this was clear about solid, liquid and gas, how density affects the propagation of sound.